Good afternoon. I'm very happy today welcoming Miss Delores Wheeler. She's a writer and actress, originally from Oklahoma, but she's been in Hollywood and doing a lot of films for the last 20 years or so. This is correct, Delores?
That's correct. I am honored to be here. I saw,
Uh,
I looked you up, and
mhm.
wow, you've got a lot on your resume.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Trying to do our best, in this industry. And as you know, the last 2 years was very challenging, not only
Yes.
in the entertainment industry, but for the whole world, the whole humanity. I want to ask you first, about your studies. How did you get interested into acting? And I've seen you've been in the actor studio in Los Angeles, right? In the beginning of your career.
I was at Sanford Meisner and Stella Adler, and I started when I was a child. In our church, they did a lot of plays, and that's where I started. And then, of course, in school, they did lots of plays. And my grandmother had a wraparound porch, and it was where we did our plays. I would write, direct, and star in them, and have all the kids in the neighborhood, and we would charge our parents to come see us. So I always had an interest, apparently, in performing. When I moved to Oklahoma City because I had family here, and they're doing a lot of filming because we have the great rebates. I think we're 13th in the nation, and so I decided to stay when I moved from California because they were doing so much filming here. And I ended up being on the regional SAG-AFTRA board. Our union here in Dallas. And of course, I'm equity also. And you can look me up on IMDb. If you type my name in, you'll see all my credits. And just thrilled that I get to do films. I even got to do some during the COVID. I had all my tests done and all my shots. And so they allowed me to work. So we just had to work under certain situations and wear masks and social distance when we were off the set. So I was lucky in that I got to continue to work somewhat. And then I did some
Yes,
interviews like I'm doing now.
and this is nice. As part of your early films, I can see you co-starred in a film called Occhio Pinocchio. It's an Italian film.
Yes.
And I remember back in Egypt, I used to watch Italian television, because we are close to Italy, and I remember seeing the trailer of this film, you know, and for people who don't know about it, it's a comedy drama, and it's a very famous film with Francesco Nuti and Chiara
Yeah.
Caselli, and they are quite famous big stars in Italy and in Europe. And I can see this film as well as part of many Italian films. I imagine from the 60s, they used to feature big American names. You remember, I remember like Kirk Douglas used to star in Italian production, Karl Malden, many actresses like yourself and models used to do some stuff in Italy. Can you tell me how did you get cast in this film?
I was actually living in Houston, and my agent put me in that. And I
Yes,
portrayed a reporter, and I remember meeting him, the star of the film. And he didn't speak English much, and he was so
really.
fun to work with. And
Uh-huh.
he went on to win an Oscar here. And so
Yes.
I just was like, once again, I was very lucky.
Yes. But tell me, did you consider to do some additional work in Europe, or uh,
Oh, I
you
would
saw
love to.
yourself more in American productions? Yeah.
I would love to.
Yes.
I'd work worldwide if I could. And hopefully this
Yes.
COVID will go away so we can open up more.
Yes, I see. In your filmography, you did many different roles. You played like a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, and I've seen one of your films starring Gary Busey, who is a big star, and his son also. I mean, became also actor, especially in science fiction horror films. And Gary did a lot of action films, and he's quite famous. Maybe in Egypt they know his face, but they don't know his name. I mean, because he appeared in big production, independent. Can you remember dealing with him on set? How was
Yes,
it
it was
like?
a lot of fun. Very, very nice. I actually portrayed a card girl. A card girl is the girl that holds the card up when you walk around before they
Yes,
actually do the wrestling. And it was
yes,
scary because I had to walk in heels and that bounces. And I was afraid I was going to
of
fall
course.
flat on my face, but I made it.
Yes, and you told me right now that during your early teens, childhood, you used to write and direct in your city before becoming a professional actress. But you came back a little bit to writing, and I've seen you have realized some ebooks and wrote some own scripts. So tell me about your experience becoming a writer, and what did you realize as a writer as well?
Well, there had been a lull in acting, and I always loved writing. Never thought I'd be a writer, and I
Mhm.
decided I would try that. And I had written articles for newspapers, for magazines over the years, and I was always surprised that they would end up being published. So I decided to write these screenplays. And then they told me, no, they want my screenplays based on books. So I did it backwards. And so I wrote the screenplays, and then one is a teleplay, and it's called 86th. And it's the romantic, I wrote it down, uh, the mystery of the romantic hidden treasure. And it's based like Cheers or Gunsmoke, if you remember or had any of those television shows where you are. And it's
Yes,
based bar restaurant where you can have many different people as guest stars come in. And that was why I wanted to do that. And then I wrote the screenplay. If you type my name in on Amazon, the three of
yes,
them will pop up. And then I
yes,
wrote uh, The Biker and the Beauty Queen. And I had met some people in the biker world. And of course, that people are fascinated with that. And I
yes,
had a lot of action, adventure, drama, romance. It's all there. And then the other one is The Smartest Man I Ever Knew. And it's based on a homeless person that I met and his interesting life and how he came on to get an apartment. And I don't want to give away the story, but it's a very sweet story of that life, which is people are very interested in that aspect too.
yes. Yes, regarding westerns, I read in one of your past interviews that your own father used to love westerns, including Gunsmoke, you just mentioned right now, right?
Well, I grew up in Texas, Fort Worth
Yes.
area, and that's
Hmm.
all he would watch. And he would only listen to country music. And he was actually a real cowboy. I grew up on a farm, and he had horses and cows and did all that. So I'm very familiar with that lifestyle.
Yes, but what is your favorite western film in classic and
Oh,
recent productions?
geez, there's so many. I think they did make a made-for-TV film of Gunsmoke and started out at the end of
Yes,
his life, and I really like that. That would
yes,
be my favorite.
yeah. Tell me, Dolores, as a writer right now, I mean, you write right now books and teleplay and screenplays, but I want to ask you, do you have, given your experience, do you have a certain topic or a character you would like to write or to interpret on the screen?
Well, I don't know if I would write it. I could write it, but I've always been
Yes,
interested in Star Trek, and I would like to be a character in that. I love
yes,
diversity, and the more diverse the roles, the better. So
yes.
that would be awesome.
In Egypt, Star Trek doesn't have a cult following like in the United States. And I remember the first film. When I was young, I used to love science fiction.
Yeah,
So we saw like Star Wars, and the first or the pilot of Battlestar Galactica, the old series, was screened
yeah,
in cinema, and used to do so for good quality television films. In the 70s, like Duel by Steven Spielberg, and some other films made for television in Universal. They used to come to cinemas, and I went to see Star Trek, I remember, with my mother, and we didn't understand it a lot because we didn't have a background on the television series with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy. But I bit by bit I started to discover it, and they did an animation, and then Star Trek: The Next Generation came by, and last year I saw the first season of Picard. So growing up, I'm more familiar with Star Trek and its many franchises. They did a lot of. They did, of course, a revamp or a remake for three films in Hollywood, and right now there is a new series going on. So it's. Do you like to play a Star Trek through or an alien?
just any character. Oh, Alien would be fun too. I actually met William Shatner. I went
Mhm.
to one of those. My oldest son is a huge fan. He's a Trekkie, and we went to one of the meetings that they have. It was huge, and all these people had the costumes on and everything, and he was the speaker. And
Yes,
it's so popular.
excellent. Tell me, Dolores, what can we expect from you in the next period? Are you working on a screenplay, on a book? Um, Somebody is asking you to appear in a new production. What can you tell me?
Well, I would love to travel and do more films, television. I actually a lot of film work here, but not as much. And we don't get the big roles like the other places do, like in LA, Chicago, New York. We're just getting the minor roles. So I would
Yes,
rather branch out.
yes, excellent. Dolores, I want to thank you very much for coming to the live and speaking about your experience. And I wish you all the best in the upcoming period. I look forward to see you on Star Trek, or a Marvel or a DC film. Who knows, and say hi to your family and to everybody. And I hope to join you live from your next shooting, from a location, and you can speak to us from your upcoming project.
That'd be great. I'd love to.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good afternoon.